Yes, Master, I would like to ask further about the fact that there are some cases where Buddhists have participated just as you taught us. However, there have been 2 or 3 cases of sudden death, and even after being supported with chanting, they still did not attain rebirth in the Pure Land.
They did not. So, are the reasons for this because the practitioner did not have enough faith and vows, and thus did not receive the blessing or the arrangement for a peaceful death, Master? There could be many reasons for that. Yes, we understand that. And I would like to ask you, Nun, is our karma so terrifying that we do not yet fully understand it? Yes, do not any of you think that because Tin Hai has been performing support chanting, Tin Hai will ultimately depart in peace. Tin Hai has never assumed such a thing. But what Tin Hai wants to explain to you is that our karma is formless and invisible. We do not know how it works. Our current practice is not enough, not strong enough to overcome karma. Dear Nun, sometimes we are hurt, and when we are attacked too much, we also feel sad and angry. Everything is just karma, right? And often when we speak boastfully, it is not certain that we are truly capable. We practice our whole lives, but it is not certain that we have truly succeeded. So when we see a good practitioner pass away in that manner, we must re-evaluate ourselves. It is not certain that our current practice will ensure we can eventually resolve our heavy karma. So what should we do now? I tell you truthfully, one must use sincerity and reverence to be protected by the Dharma protectors. As for those who practice, they may seem very gentle when they come to meet us, but who knows if they act differently when they are not with us, right, Nun?
There are many. For example, an elderly lady might meet me and say, I am determined to attain rebirth in the Pure Land. But who knows what happens when she returns home, or if someone comes to provoke her. Only then do we see these issues arise, and those are the very things we are talking about.
Yes, which ordinary people very often fall into. Yes. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to those who think they are clever or superior, if there is anyone here like that, well, let's just let it go. In nearly 30 years of this, I have seen people who think they are clever, superior, skillful, or great. I have yet to meet a single one who attained rebirth. I am telling you the truth. If that person sincerely repents, truly repents, then they can be saved. But if they keep acting arrogant, we know it immediately when we support them in mindfulness.
People acting arrogant, we know it instantly.
Even if it's a father, mother, uncle, aunt, or sibling, we have to admit defeat. Honestly, regarding practice, we can give money to each other. But the matter of cultivation is something each person must do themselves. No one can do it for them. With this group, we can only offer advice at most. Never get caught up in this, okay? Not when I am right here in front of you. But later, if someone else touches on your ego after we finish, it will be very dangerous. Especially, I will be blunt with you, especially those supporting mindfulness. Once you achieve some success, you suddenly feel as if you have some special power. That is the most dangerous thing. Extremely dangerous, so be careful not to fall victim yourself. Because Master Guan said, Master Guan, his teachings are very direct. And I personally have learned a great deal from his teachings. I have studied them very carefully. What I like most is when he says that when you want to practice, to find the path to escape the cycle of birth and death, you unintentionally disturb your karmic creditors from countless lifetimes. And you know, these karmic creditors, they possess supernatural powers, you see. They are like ghosts and spirits, sometimes very powerful indeed, but they are just ordinary beings, not saints, right? If they were saints, they wouldn't hold grudges against us, would they? Once they are aware, if you slip up even a little, they will latch onto you, looking for your weak spot without you even noticing. That is a truly dangerous thing, and usually, they use this method on ordinary people by intimidating them, scaring them, glaring, and putting on a show. But to harm a practitioner, they often feed your ego. If you think you are great, they make you feel even greater. This is a spiritual trap. If you desire power, they make it seem as though you possess these abilities. Therefore, do not be curious. If you see something strange and start claiming you have these powers, thinking you have attained this or that, or seeing others like that, those things are all illusory, just illusions. Let them go. Just return to sincerity and reverence. Thanks to such humility, the Dharma protectors will guard you wonderfully, dear friends. That is why it was said yesterday that utmost sincerity and reverence are the miraculous path. If we forget that point, even if we are focused and undisturbed, we are still prone to mistakes. When you claim to be undisturbed, you start thinking you have gained abilities, and you get trapped in arrogance without even realizing it. That is truly dangerous. Especially when performing supportive chanting, you should not bring up various theories to discuss with the patient, because those theories are just delusions. For instance, if you get caught up in these discussions, you might eventually hit a dead end, and you become trapped. So even if you don't want to speak, you feel forced to, but speaking leads to intellectualism.
It is high-level doctrine, but intellectualism is very easy to fall into arrogance, and the moment you become arrogant, the Dharma protectors will abandon you.
That is something you must remember. Therefore, when performing supportive chanting, we must not be arrogant. Remember this, do not be arrogant regardless of how many people you have assisted. I keep saying, if you listen to these lectures or what I have said, in every few talks, I will remind you of this so you can stay mindful and not be careless anymore. To avoid what is called ego attachment, whenever we do something wrong and others point it out, we should sincerely thank them immediately. That shows we are open to correction. Thanks to that, when we provide support, we have a higher chance of successfully helping those with affinity, and in turn, we get saved ourselves. Don't be in a rush. Even if you think you've helped dozens of people achieve rebirth, hearing that from a great bodhisattva, saving one person is more than a lifetime of cultivation, of boundless merit. Then we start to imagine that we ourselves have boundless merit. While the merit is indeed there, the attitude that makes one deviate from the path of peace, is extremely dangerous. Especially when others praise us, making us feel incredibly accomplished, so we lose focus. We don't realize that deep down, it's our own ego being built up, not true humility. It is simple, not trying to be anything at all, right? Yes, it is very simple. That is what the teacher taught, but day by day we also need to stay alert. But somewhere in our minds, sometimes it still arises that we are talented, our voice is great. So many times, feeling that we speak well is an incredibly dangerous karma. Therefore, usually when talking about helping others, if things start getting too high and lofty, I stop, pause, and pull myself back a bit. When providing support, the more plain and simple our words are, the closer we are to the patient, and they will find it easier to accept.
When they are sick, sometimes we might study various books and speak very eloquently. But the person lying there hasn't studied those things. Saying those strange concepts sounds good to us, but they cannot apply it, especially when speaking about high-level truths. It sounds good to us, but it doesn't sound good to them.
Yes, they are walking on the ground, but the water is too deep. Yes.
Forcing them to listen, they try, but if they can't reach it, they are left hanging between heaven and earth, lost and stranded, right? Right? Therefore, man, there are people we visit, we soothe the patient, we say, "Sir, you are going to be reborn, it will be so happy, so beautiful, so wonderful around you. Why are you so blessed like that?" Then we soothe them and speak in such simple terms. Yes.
And they like it very much. Yes.
And they like it naturally, because they like us, they like to listen to us. At that moment, just encourage them a little. Definitely keep chanting Amitabha Buddha. Just listen to me. Do not be afraid of death anymore. Like you hear, this is not death, but you are leaving this ordinary mind to gain the body of a bodhisattva, which is better. By just speaking simply like that, naturally they really like us, especially the people I see. There are some people that I watch in those videos, and I see them, and I think, oh, this person, or maybe you are the teacher. Yes, this supporting practice is good, but we stand up and talk about the Dharma realms, the principles of the path, this principle, that principle. We speak well, But the person sitting or lying there listening cannot take it. They get exhausted hearing it like that. So, the more we reason, the more chaotic it becomes. The more we analyze, the more confusing it gets, and in the practice of supporting, there is a great taboo, which is called worldly intellectual reasoning. That heavy reasoning appears not to suit ordinary people. Have you read about that, Reverend? Reasoning is also like that. Don't analyze, just make them happy, and that is enough. For example, someone says, "Sir, you must go to rebirth to be an example for everyone, okay?" If we speak like that, then it is like this, but many times, that person might say, "I dare not be an example. I am very afraid," and saying that to them, telling them to be an example is fine, but if we persuade them to be an example, we are unintentionally forcing them, which burdens their mind, right? We don't know. We ourselves haven't achieved it yet. I decide I will be an example, which proves that I am certain of rebirth, so I become an example. If I am not certain, I shouldn't. If not certain of rebirth, how can one be an example to others? It falls into the trap of arrogance without realizing it. Isn't that right, everyone? It is extremely simple. There is nothing to it, right? So when we meet someone who says, "I am determined," I will set an example for everyone to hear. I just say, "Sir, once you have passed away for 12 hours and look truly beautiful," that image itself is the example. No need to say anything else, because seeing your peaceful, beautiful face is enough. So don't dwell on it. At that point, even after 12 hours, if you keep trying to lecture them, guiding them up and down, many times, it might not be effective, right? It means how to make their mind peaceful again. Then we can resolve the hindrance, right? So it is very simple. There is nothing difficult at all. That is how it is. But never listen when people say, "I am very good. I am very good. My family head is very good." That is not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. Meaning that to our faces they might boast, but afterwards we must, meaning we must lecture and investigate. Especially when, for example, spending 2 hours investigating, we investigate with our eyes, investigate by asking questions, and investigate through psychology, looking up to see if there is anything hanging in the house. And those little children, sometimes when we talk, touch, and comfort them, we ask, "Do you love your mom? Does she often scold you, or does grandma often?" With children, they reveal more truth than adults, ladies, and gentlemen, right? It is easy to figure out big things. But as for the people themselves, because many do not know, they stand there talking about things irrelevant to the support chanting. And why do they reveal it? It means they know. It is not that they are hiding it, so we cannot blame them. Therefore, we must be very clear-sighted indeed. It is not just arriving and hearing what people say and believing it. That is not it. There are still many, many other things.